guys, welcome back. So in this lecture, we're going to have a look at the common types of errors that could occur in Python while you're trying to program. Alright, so first of all, why does an error occur? So an error in Python could occur when a certain statement is not in accordance with the prescribed usage. So that is called as a syntax error. Alright, so when I say that, you should understand that the interpreter immediately reports an error to you. So we're just going to make use of the terminal here because there'll be a lot of errors and I don't want to type here. So we'll just make use of the terminal. We'll enter into Python by writing py and we're in. Alright, so now let's look at the first type of error, which is your syntax error. So as you know, in order to print hello world, we had entered in these brackets, right? So if I don't write the brackets and I just write print hello and I hit enter, as you can see, it's saying that we have a syntax error. So syntax error is that kind of an error where the certain syntax is missing. Like as you can see, it's saying, did you mean this? So that is a syntax error. Then comes index error. So index is something that will be used in a list. So don't worry about what a list is. I'm going to just make a list here, but list is basically a list of numbers or anything. So like for example, we have a list which has 1, 2 and 3. So in a list, this value is the 0th position. This is the first position and this is second. Okay, so if I asked for the third position, alright, so if I'm going to write L and to ask for a third position, I enter these brackets with this value here, 3 and enter. So as you can see, it's saying index error. The list index is out of the range. So the range only occurs between 0, 1 and 2. But I'm asking for the third value. That's why it's saying index error. Okay. Then comes module not found error. So this occurs when a module is not found. You'll understand how you can import certain modules in Python. So when you enter the wrong name of a module, it will say module error not found or module not found error basically. So let's import not a module. Enter. As you can see, it's showing us module not found error. So that's the module not found error. Similarly, you have something called as dictionaries. It's kind of the same as lists, but instead of just having values, you have key inside it. You have a key inside it. Like in this case, 1 is the key and the value for 1 is QWE, for example. Then I have a second key, which is, let's say 2, and the value for 2 we'll assign as this, and let's shut our dictionary. Enter. Similarly, in this 2, here 1 is the key which has QWE, 2 is the key which has WER. So if I ask it to give me the value for 3 or the key for 3, it's going to say key error because there is no key like that. Alright. Similarly, you have import error. So you saw the module not found error, right? So that was when I tried to import something called not a module. So similarly, when I try to import something from a certain module. So if I say from math, which is a module, I want to import cube. So I hit enter. You're seeing import error. Cannot import name cube from math. So although it's saying unknown location for math, that is because in my case, my math module has not been installed into my Python yet. Alright, so that is why you're seeing the import error. Similarly, you have iterations. So iterations is also something we'll cover in the future, but just try and understand this. So I'm making an iteration. I'm saving a variable with an iteration in it, which runs between 1, 2 and 3. Alright. Superb. Now, you can run through an iteration by just saying next and then entering the variable in which the iteration is stored. So I hit enter. As you're seeing, it's showing you 1. Similarly, if I do the same thing again, it's saying 2. Now again, I'm going to do next iteration. It's going to say 3. Now, evidently there's nothing after 3. But if I run next iteration again, it's going to say stop iteration. So this is the stop iteration error, where the error is thrown when your next function is going beyond the number of items that are there inside iterator. Then comes your type error. So what is a type error? So you know that we have strings, right? So when I say strings, for people who don't know what strings are basically anything that is not a number. So like A, B, C, D is a string, or even 1, 2, 3 could be a string if declared in that manner. So to declare a string, you use either a single inverted comma with anything inside it and closed with another single inverted comma, or double inverted comma, whatever you want, and double inverted comma. Alright. So evidently I can also declare a number as a string. Okay. But if I try to add a string to a number like this, it's going to say type error. So that is because you're trying to concatenate. Concatenate basically means put together a string and an integer, right? So even in the English language, I can't ask you to add a plus 12. Alright. So for Python, it looks at this as a string. It doesn't care if it's 12 or not. Okay. So that is where your type error comes in. Similarly, you have value error, and which is thrown to you when a function's argument is of inappropriate types. Alright. So like if I say integer xyz. Now evidently xyz is not a number, right? And I hit enter. You're seeing value error. So this is where value error comes in. Alright. Then comes name error. So if I've declared, or I'm trying to declare a variable which doesn't exist. So like if I write age, you're seeing name error. Name age is not defined. Okay. So we declared it here, right? So if I write it, it's saying that it's a list operator. Alright. A list iterator, sorry. Then similarly, if I try to write another value which I've taken up over here, like L, enter, it's saying that L has these inside it. So when I try to ask it for something it doesn't have, like A or B, that's when you get a name error. So a variable which doesn't have any value that you have declared, or a variable that you haven't declared, is basically your name error. Similarly comes your zero division error, which is if you try to do x is equal to 100 divided by 0. Obviously this is going to be infinity, right? So if I do this, it's saying zero division error, which basically means you're trying to divide something by 0 and you're obviously not going to get that. Okay. Then you have a keyboard interrupt error. Okay. This is the last type of error, which is commonly something that you could come across. The keyboard interrupt error is basically something that is thrown when the user hits the interrupt key. So like normally it's Control and C, and that is when it's executing a program. Alright. So like if I try name is equal to input. Alright. So I'm trying to ask Python to ask me my name. Alright. And once I do this, okay, sorry, name input is not defined. Alright. So that's because I wrote IMPUT. Input. So it's asking me for my name. Alright. So if I'm trying to hit Control C, so as you can see, it's giving me a keyboard interrupt error. So I hit Control C, nothing came up on screen, but as soon as I hit enter, it said keyboard interrupt error. Alright. So these are some of the errors that you could come across while you're trying to code, and these are most commonly attained error. There are many other errors actually, like attribute error, EOF error, which is the end of file condition error. So there are many errors actually. Memory error, not implemented error, OS type of error, overflow error, reference error. But these are some of the types that you could commonly come across. And obviously, while we're coding too, and while we're practicing our codings and exercises, we'll make sure that if any type of error comes, that I will try and clear that out for you then and there itself. So that will be in case something comes that's not of these types. Alright. So, but one thing you should keep in mind is that Python is there to support you more than I am, because as you can see, it's kind of already listed with a certain type of error, and it'll tell you what type of error or what type of issue your code has. Alright. So there's no need to worry, because whatever type of error comes, either you can go through our course and check for it, and if that doesn't work for you, what you can do is just Google the type of error that there is, and you will find what the issue is. Simple as that. Alright. So that's it for the common types of errors that you can come across in Python. So I'll see you in the next lecture, but I guess before that we're going to be going through some assignments that I want you to complete. It'll be simple assignments, but complete those assignments and then you can move on to the next module where we'll be studying about variables and names. Alright. So once again, thank you for your attention. Bye bye.